This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Monday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. A lot going on here on this Monday evening. NLDS resumes. Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs, Brewers. We have some plays on those games, as well as the Monday nighter in Jacksonville between the Chiefs and the Jaguars coming up tonight to wrap up Week 5, a wild weekend in the NFL, blown leads, teams getting upset, all of that we'll get to. And oh, by the way, in our recap, very good week here on Locked On Bets. We'll get to that as well. But first, though, Lee, let's get to our wrong player, I say wrong team, but wrong player favored.
What the WTF?
Blake Snell takes the ball tonight for the Dodgers as they look for a 2-0 series lead over the Phillies in Philadelphia. He has been fantastic in his limited time with the Dodgers. He goes to every team in the NL West, the Padres, the Giants, the Dodgers, and puts up great numbers. Let's see what Snell can do tonight against the Phillies. Lee, what do you have with him in a strikeout prop?
You played youth league baseball, right, Kevin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember coaches telling you pitching and defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to stay in games, a lot of games, if you do both of those really well. And everyone talks about all the hitting for the Dodgers. They are loaded. We've played a lot of overs on player props, a lot of overs on their games. But pitching and defense starts with Blake Snell. So this guy has been incredible. But think that he's not going to strike out that many players tonight. So I think he's incredible. He has been on a roll, but the total is 7.5. And I do think if he gets in a little bit of trouble, might only pitch 5-6 innings here. So 7.5 is tough going over in any, playoff game. So he's sitting at under 7.5 minus 110. I need him to get the pitch count up, obviously. But that's what he does. Generally, he throws a lot of pitches. The algorithm has him a full strikeout under this number. So sometimes you just got to go with numbers and feel and who they're playing. I'm going to go with a wrong player favorite here. Not the wrong team favorite. Blake Snell, under 7.5 strikeouts. I see him somewhere in the 5 to 7 range.
He had 12 strikeouts against the Phillies last time he faced them back in September at home. And like you said, he throws a ton of pitches just because when you strike out a lot of guys, you need to get at least 3 strikes past every batter. But we'll see what the Phillies do tonight. Kind of interested to see how they fare as well. Up 3-0 in game 1 on Shohei Ohtani. And you think you're going to roll, and then LA comes back late. That the Phillies got a number for you, Leo. Wanted to drop that. Since the Phillies were up 2-0 on the Diamondbacks in the NLCS 2 seasons ago, they're 2-8 in their last 10 playoff games. So Philadelphia really has not fared well in the postseason. So we'll see how they do tonight against the Dodgers. Game 2 of that series. We'll have a pick on Cubs Brewers coming up in just a little bit. But want to recap the weekend, Lee, and our picks, first of all, in the show. 5-1 in college football, 4-1 in the NFL. 9-2 in football, dating back to the games over the weekend. So pretty impressive. I'm just going to run these winners down really quick that we had. Maryland, they covered against Washington in that loss. Miami cruised past Florida State. Well, they held off Florida State. They were big, and then still they won and covered. Illinois crushed Purdue. Boise State did cover in a loss to Notre Dame, and Texas Tech, they took care of Houston on the road. So first on the college football, a couple things just on the selections. Your thoughts on some of those winners?
We were on the money almost every single game except for Minnesota. So sometimes you make a mistake. I was on the wrong side there, but only game that was even close was the Boise game, and you're going to win some by half point. You're going to lose some by half point. So bottom line is we did a great job for the show. Also for my clients, had a 6-1 day. So kind of mirrored what it did. Some of those selections made it, some didn't. But like I said, Illinois, Maryland, Miami, Texas Tech, those 4 never in doubt.
Yeah, and with Miami, they're still a top 3 team in the country. You have a Heisman-type quarterback in Carson Beck, and the final score was a bit misleading. FSU, a couple turnovers. Miami was up big, and FSU made it interesting in the end. But still, I think we see a class difference with these 2 teams. And I don't know if I mentioned this on air or off air to you, Lee, but even before, actually, after the Virginia game that they lost in double overtime, I said, this is not a top 10 team. Like, it's a nice win for Virginia, but FSU's probably in the 15s or the 20s, not top 10, only because they beat Alabama. But I see what they are. Like, they're improving under Mike Norvell, but they're nowhere near Miami right now.
Well, you got to give them credit. They didn't quit. They're probably, be honest with you, 18 to 28, somewhere in that range, depending on the day, which side of the bed you wake up on. So, like I said, they are improved. Miami, Oregon, and Ohio State, I think, are clearly 1, 2, 3. And then I think there's a dip, not a huge dip, but there's a dip, between the Texas A&Ms, the Alabamas and these other schools. There's like 8 or 10 other schools that are good. I don't know if I'd call them great yet. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. Obviously, all these college teams want to be in the top 4 because you get a bye, and you're either, in Miami's case, you could be playing in your home stadium or playing very, very close, and you get that extra. I think it's not a week. It's like 9-10 days.
And I guess now we can close the book on Penn State as far as them being a playoff team, that they lose that tough game to Oregon. And then you go out west and you play a UCLA team that hadn't won a game. They've changed coaches. They've lost to New Mexico and Northwestern, and they're just not good. And they just punch you in the face right out of the gate. And I know Penn State came back and made it interesting and had a shot to tie it late. But, UCLA scores. They had the onside kick. They have nothing to lose. And just inexcusable effort there by Penn State. And that loss is 24.5-point road favorites.
You summed it up. They got problems there. I mean, he's got talent there. I think, it's sometimes not just getting 4- and 5-star guys and assembling a huge, usually talented roster. It's character and, like the DNA. Drew Allar is talented. I mean, the guy can throw the ball probably 75, 80 yards, has a cannon, fast. He's going to go to the combines and test off the charts, and someone might take a chance on him in the first round. I wouldn't. I don't think he has that winning DNA. And I've seen it, growing up playing sports. There's certain guys like, Drew Allar, and then there's other guys like the quarterback for Vanderbilt. I mean, kid's impressive. Kid's a winner. Not going to be an NFL quarterback, but to me, I'd want him, Diego Pavia, on my team. The kid's a winner. His team didn't lose. They just didn't have the talent, and they ran out of time.
Yeah, and you got to give Vanderbilt credit. Even that loss, and that final score is misleading. Alabama scored in the final minute to cover the spread. But Vandy, 2 straight years, beating Alabama and then hanging with them the second time around against Tuscaloosa. Still impressive job there by the Commodores. Let's go to the NFL as far as recapping what we did. 4-1. I was responsible for the loser. I'll get to that in a second. But the 4 winners, though, Denver, they rally past Philadelphia. Detroit blows out Cincinnati. The Bengals are an absolute mess right now. Saints get their first win over the Giants. And Carolina, they rally from 17-0 down to beat Miami. And the Dolphins are a mess as well. I'm surprised Mike McDaniel made it on the plane home. But as far as those games, obviously Denver the most impressive, down 17-3 going to the fourth and coming back. Really good win for Sean Payton and the Broncos after a couple of heartbreaking losses earlier in the season. They
needed it. And for the first 3 quarters, just didn't play well. But they finally got it together. That's impressive for a team, and their defense got better as the game wore on. So I had a couple of those plays for my clients. Felt good about the card. Usually on a Sunday for my clients, I'll give out like 3 games. Last 3 weeks, I've given out 4 or 5 games and combined 13-0 in the NFL on Sundays. So I've liked the card. I think I can figure out these teams pretty well now. It's not just talent. It's also you got to know the coach's mentality and how one team strength matches up against another team's weakness. So felt great about it, and it fell into place. And really, there wasn't a fluke there in any of the wins.
Now, as far as the loss, I want to bring this up. We discussed it Friday that I had the Arizona Tennessee under, and you had said, these bad teams, like it'll come around. Like it'll come around. You'll get that over. Where the over didn't hit until the final field goal of the game. Tennessee was down 21-3. Arizona had that one touchdown, and I know we can go off on a rant and say, oh, you got to cross the goal line, all this. Like we've heard that a million times, and yes, you do. I still thought, in my opinion, that the ball crossed the plane, that they should have been up 28-3, and I don't know how you took that off or reversed it. But at the same time, you have that crazy interception. It goes, Tennessee scores a touchdown on that after the guy fumbles it, and then Tennessee recovers in the end zone. Cam Ward hits a long pass down the sideline, set up the final field goal. So that one barely went over with all of that being said.
Call it a semi-bad beat. Somewhere between a semi and a bad beat. So it wasn't like a Hail Mary, but I just have seen those kind of, totals and games where everything looks like you look at the numbers and everything points to an under or everything points to one side and somehow just doesn't win. Just happens. So, you got a bad beat, a semi-bad beat. No big deal. We combined went 9-2 for the games, starting on Tuesday, that went all the way through Friday that we released. So I think everyone will take that any day of the week.
Now, the final one we want to get to, even though we didn't have a play on it, but the Buccaneers-Seahawks game, just amazing, from the uniforms to just the quarterback play. Sam Darnold played well until that terrible throw at the end that set up Tampa Bay's go-ahead field goal, or the game-winning field goal. But as far as Baker Mayfield goes, when you just rewind it all, Lee, and the Buccaneers have Tom Brady for 3 seasons. They win a Super Bowl with him. He resurrects the franchise. Obviously, age caught up with him. And then when he retired, the plan was, let's just plug someone else in and see what happens. They got the guy Kyle Trask from Florida, and let's just sign Baker Mayfield. He's a veteran. Let's just see what happens. And it's probably, past getting Tom Brady, it's probably the second best signing they've had. Think about that. You go from Brady to Baker Mayfield and the job he's done. You're set now for the next 5 or 6 years, at least, with him, that he's led the NFL in touchdowns now the last few seasons. He's just been amazing. And there's no Mike Evans. Yeah.
Incredible. 4 comeback wins this season. The 2 darts that he threw the last 2 weeks, the post patterns that either tied the game or won the game were, lasers. They were perfect plays. Those were 10s out of 10. Couldn't do it any better. So he's been amazing. He's clearly a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And we didn't even talk about maybe the biggest story of the weekend. Buffalo and Philly go down. We did, alluded to it with Denver, but they both go down. No undefeated team after 5 NFL weeks. So my Dolphins, the only good news for my Dolphins, the only perfect season lives on.
Popping the champagne. That's what the 72 Dolphins do best. And and just one quick note before we move on with the Bills. They still look sharp last night. I got to give the Patriots a lot of credit. They really stifled the Bills, and they had a graphic that there was 1 turnover the first 4 weeks for Buffalo. They had 3 turnovers. They had the fumble. Josh Allen got picked off in the red zone. That I got it. Drake May has definitely made a lot of progression, and maybe Mike Vrabel was the right guy to bring in after the Gerard Mayo failed experiment, and Stephon Diggs had lots to play for last night. But I got to give the Patriots a lot of credit as far as just really silencing the Bills last night.
I thought they were the better team. They played with a little more urgency and were hitting a little bit harder, in my opinion. So Bills defense isn't great. They're not clicking on all cylinders, but certainly give the Patriots a lot of credit. Love Vrabel as a coach. I don't know if he's a coach that can win you a Super Bowl, but I think he's a coach that can take you from being bad, really bad, to above average. So let's see how that plays out. A lot of people, had a lot of negative things to say about May as a quarterback, but looked pretty good last night. And he's certainly coming on.
Yeah, and Vrabel obviously was good with the Titans, and things kind of fell apart there. I'm sure they probably wish to have him back there in Tennessee. All right, coming up, we will talk about the Cubs and the Brewers. Also have some plays for the Chiefs and the Jags Monday night football in Jacksonville. All that is straight ahead. You're listening to Locked On Bets. It's time now to talk about FanDuel. That's right, NFL season continuing, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. to use across the app. And we have Kansas City, Jacksonville tonight to wrap up week 5. And you can obviously bet on the side total money line for that game. Patrick Mahomes, his passing yardage prop. Trevor Lawrence, his passing yardage prop on the Jacksonville side. What's Travis Hunter going to do tonight against this Chiefs offense and defense? He plays both sides. So we'll see what he does. You can bet on his receiving prop as well. But also the future props. Buffalo Bills, in spite of their loss to New England, still the favorites to win the Super Bowl at FanDuel. The Eagles, in spite of their loss to the Broncos, they're second in line as far as Super Bowl odds. And the Detroit Lions, they are sneaking up there, 4 straight wins. They are third there to win the Super Bowl at FanDuel. Also MVP odds, Josh Allen, in spite of the loss, he is still the favorite to win the MVP. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is right behind him. So you have MVP, all the awards, Super Bowl, AFC winner, NFC winner, and the games and the player props. So plenty to choose from at FanDuel as far as the NFL goes. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And we have another baseball game tonight. Dodgers, Phillies, the first one we covered. Second one, we're looking at the Cubs and the Brew Crew from Milwaukee. And that is our first hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
What's so interesting, Lee, is I feel like in these best-of-5 series, you're never really out of it in spite of how bad you play. Like, I don't think the Yankees are out of it against the Blue Jays, even though they were totally torched the first 2 games. Like, you go home, you could be okay. So the Cubs, I'm not saying if they lose tonight, they're all right. But at the same time, you can't give up 6 runs in the first inning again like they did on Saturday. They got totally blown up by Milwaukee. So with that being said, my hidden gem, the Brewers and the Cubs, we're going to go first 5 under 4.5. You're laying about 120 on this one. But still, number 1, Shota Imanaga takes the ball for Chicago. Matthew Boyd was on 3 days rest. It wasn't a good plan in retrospect, no matter what Craig Counsell says. He got racked in the first inning. Imanaga, he pitched 4 innings of relief in Game 2 against San Diego of the wild card series. Gave up a couple runs, but Imanaga's faced Milwaukee plenty, and he's done a good job against them. Also, the Cubs offense has done nothing so far in the postseason, in spite of making it this far. 5 runs in the first 5 innings in 4 games. So they haven't scored early. I don't think they're going to score, even though Aaron Ashby goes for Milwaukee tonight, and he is the it's going to be a bullpen game, it feels like. He may go a few innings, but 9 straight appearances for him. He hasn't given up a run. I think this one will revert back to a low-scoring game through 5. So let's go with the under 4.5 between the Cubs and the Brewers lead for our first hidden gem. Does that feel good to you?
Feels good. Good enough. All right.
I like that. Okay. Hey, that's fine with me. That's fine. Good enough is good for me. So, you know what? With that being said, let's go to our second hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
Time now for our second hidden gem, and the Chiefs and the Jaguars coming up tonight from Jacksonville to wrap up Week 5. I mean, if we have any more craziness, please give it to us here in the NFL. We'll get to the side coming up in a little bit, but as far as a player prop, Lee, Jacksonville running back Travis Etienne, his rushing prop tonight against the good or very good Chiefs defense. Lee, what do you like with that?
All right, so Travis Etienne, 64.5 rushing yards is the total. Chiefs looked at just the numbers in the middle of the pack against the run. Jaguars, what do? When they run the football, they use a 3-headed monster at running back. Jags have faced the 12th, 15th, 23rd, and 26th ranked defenses here. I just think that the Chiefs here do enough to slow down Jacksonville. And if the Chiefs are able to get the lead, look out. Then we're going to see Jacksonville pass more. If that's the case, not going to see Travis Etienne's number here. So I think that his number getting over 64.5 is them predicated on having a lead and probably be sometimes 7 to 10 points. And I think that's going to be tough here. So they use too many different backs now with Bigsby, and I just don't trust Jacksonville to be able to control the ball and control the clock. And Kansas City is good. I mean, Kansas City's defense, numbers wise, but they just suffocate you. It's like, it's like you think you can do this and they'll take that away. You think you can do that, they take that away. So they just don't allow the best players usually have good games. And I think he's at the end is the biggest threat to them running and catching the ball. So I'm going to go under 64.5 rushing yards for Travis Etienne here. Another hidden gem.
Yeah, really wonder how Jacksonville's going to approach us tonight, what Trevor Lawrence can put the ball in his hands against Kansas City. And we're going to talk about the side in a moment, but I guess to tease it in a second, that now you wonder if the Chiefs they're slowly starting to get it figured out now. Everyone said they were dead at 0-2, but now they've won a couple in a row. And granted, Baltimore knows a bit of a mess, but still, that was a good win at home last week. So we'll see what they do headed on the road in Jacksonville. So with that, let's go to the final side right after this on Locked On Bets, looking ahead to the Jags and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. We continue here, Locked On Bets on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Chiefs 2-2. The Jags 3-1. Really good win in San Francisco last week, but they're now back at home tonight, and we'll see what the Chiefs do if they can get their third straight win. Time now for the Lock of the Day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the Lock of the Day.
Like I said, I don't know if Kansas City has turned things around, but definitely trending in a positive direction as they head to North Florida tonight to battle the Jags. So, Lee, Chiefs and the Jags tonight. Kansas City favored on the road. What do you like?
Okay, so first of all, you got to give Liam Cohen credit. He's done a masterful job turning them around. They were a woeful team to watch the last couple of years, and still pride in them, and they're playing solid, good football. What are the main things he's looking at? People think, oh, he's an offensive coordinator lighting it up. No. First of all, playing really good defense, special teams, and running the ball. And that's how you win a lot of championships, just like baseball, pitching, and defense. They do all three things really well. I just think that Kansas City plays defense and special teams just even better than Jacksonville. Also, why has the running game been better for Jacksonville? Talk to someone who goes to a lot of their, practices when they start camp in July. And he told me last year when he was watching their practices, he goes, we only have really 3 decent offensive linemen, NFL starting caliber linemen. This year, he told me, he goes, we got 7 or 8. So you're going to win a lot of championships. You're going to be in a lot of games, get a lot more wins when you control the line of scrimmage, and they finally are doing that. Just think that Kansas City's better in almost every single respect except for running the football. Then you get to the Chiefs. Why have they improved? Well, Xavier Worthy came back. Huge difference. He's got speed, running. They run him a lot on jet sweeps. He vertically can really press defenses and make them uncomfortable. So not only is he added to the mix, and he's putting up some nice numbers, it makes the rest of the complementary better. So I just think that they are turning the corner here. They got a lot of championship pedigree, not really many injuries. They'll get Rice back. I think they go 1 or 2 more games, and then he'll be back in the fold. And I think they're there. They're begging you to take Jacksonville as a home dog on a Monday night. Don't fall for the trap here. Level 2 lock on a Monday, Kansas City Chiefs +3.5.
Yeah, I've been rolling here with the football picks, 4-1 in the NFL on Sunday. And the college football has been on fire, so we continue and hope to keep that streak going, wrapping up week 5 of the NFL. And now transitioning to week 6 of the NFL. You have Eagles-Giants Thursday, and gets another big college card for week 7. So, Lee, what's going on with Paramount Sports trying to stay on fire?
Yep, so baseball had a really nice day, player props yesterday. Also, our selections. Player props. You want to get player props through the end of the World Series? $97. You can get that on $100 wager. So all my player props, Major League Baseball through the World Series, $97. My selections in baseball through the World Series reduced to also $97. These were $250 and $297. just a week ago. So hop on those specials, 97 each, get both of them. I mean, have some fun with the playoffs, and I think you'll probably be making some good money. What starts tomorrow? Hockey. That's right, hockey. So we've had 5 straight winning seasons in the hockey since we started doing that again. You want to hop on board on the website, ParamountSports.com. It's $14.97, 24-hour special. Use coupon code SAVE300, SAVE300 at checkout. Just $1,197 from tomorrow's first face-off through the Stanley Cups in June all the way in 2026. So normally $14.97, 24-hour special. Use coupon code SAVE300, just $11.97. Basketball starts in a week and a half. I'm going to do the same also. I'm in such a good mood. Use coupon code SAVE300, $1,197 for basketball. So if you've been with us with my service, you are feeling great. Not good, great. We're on a 16-2 combined run since last Sunday in the football. I can't say enough. It's just been really a lot of fun and feeling really good about, I think I know these teams now inside and out. So going to have some bad beats, going to have some lucky wins, but they're evening out. So 16-2 run. You want to get with us for football. Every special's up and available. Locktober, season, player props, $4.97 through the Super Bowl. Check it all out. Hop on board. No one hotter, no one with a better documented record. And every single one of my players is up on recent results on the website, ParamountSports.com. So go to the website, ParamountSports.com. Now's the time to hop on board and start winning, or call us here at the office. We can take your order over the phone, 800-400-9741. Start winning today.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Locked On Bets. We appreciate your support there. Also, the podcast version of the show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can find us on X, Lee at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. We'll be back with you coming up on Tuesday. A lot of NHL talk coming up Tuesday with the season getting underway. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Monday's edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.